Hello and welcome to Pawan Kumar Wankhede YouTube channel on pharmacology. Today we learn neurohumoral transmission. Also we learn in relation to the GPAT point of view. So what do you mean by first neurohumoral transmission? As the name suggests, neuro means neuron and humoral means it is the chemical. So it is the neurohumoral transmission implies that nerve impulse transmit their message across synapses and neuroeffector junction by the release of humoral. Humoral means it is a chemical messenger. So understand. So simply as the name suggests, neurohumoral transmission means it is transmit the impulses from one neuron to the another neuron across the synapse. Synapse means it is the gap between the two neurons, and it is the by the neuroeffector junction. Now what do you mean by neuroeffector junction? Neuroeffector junction as such like that in the skeletal muscles in which the neurotransmitter acetylcholine are released at the neuroeffector junction and causes the muscle contraction. Neurotransmitter are chemical messenger released into synaptic cleft by the neuron. Now we will see some example of neurotransmitter such as noradrenaline, acetylcholine, serotonin, dopamine, glutamate, GABA means gamma aminobutyric acid, and glycine. In this, noradrenaline, acetylcholine, serotonin, dopamine, glutamate are the excitatory neurotransmitter, and GABA and glycine are called as the inhibitory neurotransmitter. Based on its function, it is named as excitatory. Based on its excitatory function called as the excitatory neurotransmitter, and based on its inhibitory function called as the inhibitory neurotransmitter. So now we will move toward the next steps in neurohumoral transmission, in which the first step is impulse conduction, second step is transmitter release, third step is transmitter junction on post-junction membrane, fourth step is post-junction activity, and fifth stage is termination of transmitter action. We will see and learn this step by use of one diagram. So the first step it is the impulse conduction. The first step is called as the impulse conduction. Now first it is the resting membrane potential. Now what do you mean by resting membrane potential? In the resting membrane potential are in which the extracellular are mostly the sodium and intracellular are the potassium ion it is present. Inside that of the neuron is it is the minus 70. So it is resting membrane potential, it is minus 70 millivolt. Noted by this, it is called as the minus 70 millivolt. It means that inside of it is the 70 mm less as compared to the outside. So in the inside it is less as compared to the outside, and hence it is called as the resting membrane potential. Now it is thought that the neurohumoral transmission it is said to be electrical, and hence when there is a stimulation or arrival of any electrical impulse such as this, if there is a stimulation or arrival of any chemical stimulus, what happens? It causes sudden increase in sodium conduction. Now you can see that what happens then, there is a increase in the sodium conduction and release of opening of that of the potassium ion. Understand? So this causes a release of sodium conduction and causes depolarization. Now you can see that in this diagram. So in this diagram you can clearly see that it causes the depolarization, means sodium goes inside and potassium goes outside. Understand? So this term it is called as the depolarization. Understand? So sodium channel, it is the very fast acting ion channel. So there are some types of ion channel, such as sodium, it is a fast acting ion channel, and calcium, it is a slow acting ion channel. So due to the fast acting ion channel, it causes the overshoot. Overshoot means it causes up to the 20 millivolt positive volt charges. It causes the 20 millivolt positive charge. Understand? So it causes the overshoot, and potassium move out by the repolarization. So simply you can see that in the diagram. So if there is a sodium channel, it is up to the 0. Then what happen? Due to the it is fast acting, it causes above this, and it causes the overshoot, means up to that of the plus 20, and the term it is called as the overshoot. And when the sodium is goes, means release, and it causes the increase in that of the this action potential. Understand? So when there is a in the first step, what happened? In the first step, when the electrical impulses occur, it causes the entry of sodium ion channel, and it causes the depolarization. So understand, this is called as the first step, it is called as the impulse conduction. Now this in the impulse conduction, the first step, now one drug or one called as the tetrodotoxin, which is obtained from the poplar fish. It is the tetrodotoxin. Can just I just try to write down this name. So toxin, so it is called as the neurotoxin. Now what can it do? It is the neurotoxin. So as the name suggests, it causes the inhibition of impulse conduction. So tetrodotoxin causes the inhibition of impulse conduction, and it causes the paralysis of the muscles. So tetrodotoxin is obtained from the puffer fish. Understand? So this is called as the first step, it is called as the impulse conduction. So if you start with the next step, you have to understand the basic this diagram of this neuroimmunal transmission. So this is the first neuron, and this is the second neuron, and hence the name it is called as the presynaptic neuron, and this neuron it is called as the postsynaptic neuron. Understand? So it is called as the postsynaptic, and this is called as the presynaptic neuron. Understand? Why it is called? Because it is present before, and it is called as the presynaptic. Post means after, and hence it is called as the postsynaptic neuron. Understand? The gap between this it is called as the, all of you generally know this term, called as the synapse, or it is called as the synaptic cleft. Understand? So now we will move toward the second step. Second step it is called as the release of neurotransmitter. I will say that it is called as the transmitter release. Now due to the impulse conduction, what happen? Then it causes the, in the next step there is a causes the entry of calcium ion. Entry of calcium ion. Now what is the function of calcium ion? Now calcium ion, it fluidize the membrane, axonal and the vesicular membrane are fluidized, and all the content of that neurotransmitter are poured in the this synaptic cleft, Understand? So in the second step, what happened? There is a entry of calcium ion, and it fluidizes the membrane, axonal and the vesicular membrane, and all the content are poured in the synaptic cleft. So all the content of your neurotransmitter are poured in the synaptic cleft. Along with the neurotransmitter, some enzyme and other protein are released into that of the synaptic cleft, and the process is called as the exocytosis. Note the exocytosis. Exo means outside, so it is called as the exocytosis. Means it it causes the outside from the synaptic vesicle and goes into that of the synaptic cleft, and hence it is called as the exocytosis. Exocytosis in the junctional cleft. So understand second step. So second step is easy. When impulse conduction is occur, it causes entry of calcium ion, and calcium ion, and due to that it causes the fluidize the membrane, and all the content which is present in the synaptic vesicle are poured in the synaptic cleft, in which the neurotransmitter, some enzyme and other protein are also poured along with that of the primary neurotransmitter. Now again in this that some and now this release process, okay, the second step. Now this first step is inhibited by the tetrodotoxin. Now second step, release of neurotransmitter are modulated by the neurotransmitter itself. Now why this happen? If you take the example of this noradrenaline, if this release the noradrenaline as a neurotransmitter, understand? So if there is a presence of receptor called as the, if in this presynaptic neuron, if this receptor is present, then it is known as the presynaptic receptor. Why it is called presynaptic receptor? Because it is present in the presynaptic neuron. Understand? So it is present in the presynaptic neuron, and hence it is called as the presynaptic receptor. Now you have to understand that presynaptic receptor are called as the autoreceptor. Presynaptic receptor are called as the autoreceptor. Now known by auto means it is the self. Auto means self. Now it is called as the autoreceptor. Especially in case of noradrenaline, it is the alpha 2A. Alpha 2. It is alpha 2. It is called as the autoreceptor. Now what happened? As I have told that it is the autoreceptor means it causes decrease in own neurotransmitter level. So if it is noradrenaline, if it stimulates this autoreceptor, it decreases the release of neurotransmitter. Understand? So it decreases the release of neurotransmitter, and hence due to that it decreases the level of the neurotransmitter. You can take the example of clonidine, which is the alpha 2 receptor agonist, which is the antihypertensive drug which decreases the noradrenaline level released by this mechanism. Understand? So this is the all about your second step, release of neurotransmitter. Now third step it is called as the transmitter action on post junction membrane. Now this neurotransmitter are in the synaptic cleft. Now it act on the post synaptic receptor. Understand? So the neurotransmitter release of neurotransmitter, it combined with the specific receptor on the post junction. Now this is called as the, if the receptor is present in this area, then it is called as the post synaptic receptor. Understand? So this receptor is called as the postsynaptic receptor. So it is act on the post-junctional membrane and induces the two types of receptor. The first it is called as the EPSP. EPSP means it is the name suggests that E means it is the excitatory, post, P means post, S means it is the synaptic, and P means it is the potential. So it is the excitatory post synaptic potential which increases the permeability of cation, means which has the positive charge ions are permeated, or it is releases, such as sodium and calcium. I have already told that sodium it is the fast acting channel, and calcium is the slow acting channel. Both are releases due to the excitatory postsynaptic potential, and it causes the depolarization. So it causes the depolarization. Now when there is a depolarization is occur, when sodium it is releases, okay, now that it causes the depolarization, or calcium it is releases, also it causes the depolarization. We can take the example of glutamate, which is the excitatory neurotransmitter which open the sodium ion channel and causes the excitatory neurotransmitter, causes the function as a excitation. And you can take the example of acetylcholine which act on the nicotinic receptor which also open the sodium ion channels. Understand? So it is called as the excitatory postsynaptic potential. Now next term it is called as the inhibitory postsynaptic potential. I means inhibitory, P means post, S means synaptic, and P means it is a potential. So because it is a postsynaptic, it acts on the postsynaptic receptor and hence called as the, and it functions as inhibitory and hence called as the inhibitory postsynaptic potential. So when now this is the, you can clearly see that this is called as the inhibitory, sorry, so this is called as the inhibitory neurotransmitter. Understand? So this is the excitatory and this is the inhibitory neurotransmitter. Now you can see that all the steps are same. First it is the impulse conduction, there is a transmitter of release. Now what happens when it acts on the postsynaptic receptor, because it is the inhibitory functions. Understand? It opens the ions called as the chloride ion. Chloride ion, it is the negative ion, hence it is called as the cation specially. Understand? So you have to just remember, most of the students are confused with the chloride and calcium. So this is the confusion. So when inhibitory neurotransmitter, it open the chloride ion channel, and due to that, because of its negative, okay, just understand that. So if it is the resting membrane potential is of starting from minus 70, understand, and if you add the more chloride, more negative ion, what happen, it goes into the this called as the hyperpolarization. So it start from the here, so it called, the term it is called as the hyperpolarization. Understand? So it causes the hyperpolarize the membrane and it causes the inhibitory postsynaptic potential is generated, which selectively again release the increases the permeability of the potassium ion. So chloride ion goes inside and potassium goes outside. So it is called as the inhibitory neurotransmitter. You can take the example of GABAergic neurotransmission. Okay, so it just is very important in case of antiepileptic or anxiety. These neurotransmitters are very important. So it is the gamma aminobutyric acid, which is the inhibitory neurotransmitter, which act on the GABAergic receptor, and it open the chloride ion channel, and due to that it causes the hyperpolarization. You have to understand that hyperpolarized cells are does not active cells. Understand? It is does not active cell, and hence it causes the depression. And hence when you open this chloride channel, our central nervous system get depressed. Understand? And hence by this mechanism, you can give the drug mechanism action of your diazepam, which causes the hyperpolarization and decreases depresses our central nervous system. And hence it is useful in treatment of the insomnia. Understand? So this is the just basic regarding the your different steps. So understand. So we have completed these three steps. First is the impulse conduction. Second is the release of transmitter. Third is the transmitter action of post junction membrane. Now fourth one, it is the post junction activity. Now what happen when the drug neurotransmitter is act on this receptor? It gives its post junction activity. So it shows the effect. Understand? So it shows the effect, and it may causes the contraction of muscle. If you take the example of acetylcholine, which act on the nicotinic muscular receptor, it causes the contraction of muscles or may increase the secretion of the gland. Okay, and due to that, hence it causes the post junctional activity, means it gives its pharmacological actions called as the post junctional activity. Now next and last step is the termination of transmitter action. So we will show give the three example: parasympathetic neuron, sympathetic neuron, and the GABAergic neuron, to understand what happened in the termination of neurotransmitter action. So neurotransmitter, if you take the example of this parasympathetic neuron, this is called as the cholinergic neuron. So understand, so it is called as the cholinergic neuron. So all the neurotransmitters are stored into that of the synaptic cleft. So acetylcholine are stored into that of the synaptic cleft. All the steps are now same. First, what happened? It causes the impulse conduction. First step, it is called as the impulse conduction. Second step, it is the entry of your calcium ion, and it causes the fluidized membrane, and all the content are poured into that of the synaptic cleft. Understand? And then it causes, now very important that now we will move toward the last step. It is called as the termination of action. Means how this termination of action is carried out in the neurotransmitter. So the first, it is the acetylcholine which hydrolyzes suddenly or degraded fastly or locally by the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. So this is called as the acetylcholinesterase enzyme, which causes the degradation of acetylcholine, and it causes the conversion into that of the choline and acetate. So acetylcholine is rapidly hydrolyzed and converted into the choline and the acetate. Understand? And some are also again taken up by the presynaptic neuron, and some are diffused into the cells, or it is some are diffused into that of the effector cells, and specifically by the it is diffused slowly. Understand? And by the enzyme peptidase, it is degraded. By the enzyme peptidase, it is degraded. Understand? So by the enzyme peptidase, it is degraded. So if you take the example of parasympathetic neuron, acetylcholine degradation is occurred by this mechanism. It is hydrolyzed by the acetylcholinesterase enzyme, and it neurotransmitters are the vasoactive intestinal peptide. So vasoactive intestinal peptide are important neuropeptide, which is a potent vasodilator and regulate the smooth muscle activity. So it is called as the VIP, vasoactive intestinal peptide, which is a potent vasodilator and regulate the smooth muscle activity, and which is called as a neuropeptide, which is released along with that of your neurotransmitter VIP. Understand? So now we will move toward the next in which we will see the its termination of action of the noradrenergic neuron. So sympathetic neuron, again this is very important. We will see in the detail in the next lecture, but you have to understand that again it is important. Precursor for this enzyme, it is called as the tyrosine. So it is the tyrosine is a precursor for the synthesis of the noradrenaline. Tyrosine is converted into the dopa. Dopa is converted into the dopamine. So tyrosine is converted into the dopa. Dopa is converted into the dopamine. Dopa is converted into the dopamine. Understand? Then dopamine in the synaptic vesicle, it is converted into the noradrenaline. It converted into the noradrenaline by using the various enzymes. We will see in the next lecture in the details, but you have to just understand how the termination is occur. Again same mechanism. Again this is the very important. When neurotransmitter are released, again it is taken up by the presynaptic membrane by the transporter called as the norepinephrine transporter. Understand? Called as the NET, which is called as the noradrenaline transporter, and some are metabolized by the some of the enzyme called as the COMT and MAO. Some noradrenaline are metabolized by the COMT, catechol-methyltransferase, and the monoamino oxidase enzyme. Understand? So it is metabolized by this enzyme, and this is called as the reuptake mechanism. If the neurotransmitter again is taken up by the presynaptic neuron, the term it is called as the re means punna. So it is the reuptake mechanism, and it is through the transporter. Understand? So it is called as the noradrenaline transporter. Along with this, the one of the co-transmitter are released are called as the neuropeptide Y, which is the vasoconstrictor substances, and some are diffused again by the same mechanism and diffused, and it is degraded by the peptidase enzyme, and it is degraded. Understand? So if you take the example of serotonin, now again it is called as the serotonin transporter. Understand? So if it is the serotonin neurotransmitter, it is called, it is taken up by the serotonin transporter. If it is a dopamine, then it is taken up by the dopamine transporter. Understand? So depending on this neurotransmitter, it is again taken up. Now next we will see the termination of action of GABAergic neuron. So GABA, it is a very important inhibitory neurotransmitter. Now you can see that this is the GABAergic neurotransmission. So this is called as the presynaptic neuron, again the postsynaptic neuron, again GABA. So again GABA, it is the gamma aminobutyric acid. Now again metabolism, it is done by the this transporter called as the GAT or GABA transporter. So again it is reuptake by the this transporter, and again it goes into the presynaptic neuron called as the GAT transporter or GABA transporter. So this is a very important mechanism. Again it is taken up by the presynaptic neuron. Understand? And this sometime GABA, it is metabolized by the GABA transaminase enzyme. Okay, so it is metabolized by the GABA transaminase enzyme into the succinic semialdehyde. So it is converted into the succinic semialdehyde, SSA. Okay, so in the previous GPAT examination, this question is asked. Okay, in that of the pair form. So vigabactrin, it is the drug which inhibited this enzyme. Vigabactrin is a drug which inhibited this enzyme and increases the level of your neurotransmitter GABAergic neurotransmitter increase. And there is a drug called as the tiagabine which inhibits the GAT transporter and increases the level of the this GABAergic neurotransmission. If it is increases, you can use in the treatment of the anti-epileptic drugs. Understand? Now some GABAergic neurotransmitter are again taken up by the this neighboring cell called as the glial cell. So again some neurotransmitter GABAergic neurotransmitter are again taken up by the glial cells. Understand? So this is called as the postsynaptic neuron. So in this there is a, you have to understand that there is a GAT neurotransmitter or called as the GABA transporter and the GABA transaminase enzyme which is metabolized by the GABA into the succinic semialdehyde. So this type of question will be asked in the GPAT examinations. So now we will move to the last slide or last point. So what are the different criteria or substances must fulfill the following criteria? So it should be present in the presynaptic neuron. So neurotransmitter, it should be present in the presynaptic neuron. You have to understand that all the neurotransmitter must be present in the presynaptic neuron. This is the first criteria. Second, it should be released in medium following nerve stimulation. Now when there is a nerve stimulation is occur, impulse conduction occur, it must be releases into that of the synaptic cleft. Third, its application should be produce response identical to those produced by the nerve stimulation. And fourth one, it should be antagonized or potentiated by other substances which similarly alter effect of nerve stimulation. If you take, I have already taken the example of tetrodotoxin which inhibit the impulse conduction. Understand? So I think all of you are understand the basics regarding the neurohumoral transmission. This is a very important topic in the CNS pharmacology or the ANS pharmacology, and I hope this explanation will be helpful for the GPAT examination point of view also. Thank you. If you like this this topic or this lecture, kindly subscribe my YouTube channel for the more pharmacology video. Thank you.